Hello, boys, girls, Z's, and everybody else. So we are going to be doing our nice little Let's Live today out at the Liberty Reservoir. So we're probably not going to see a lot of the reservoir because, again, everything around here is very greeny and treey. But basically I decided to come out here and, again, taking a look. Isn't that a beautiful... Again, a lot of people are thinking, well, Eli... It's not like everybody can afford a nice brand new F-150. You know, some of us don't have that type of money. But let me tell you, looking at a vehicle like that vehicle right there, that is an awesome vehicle for going out on some amazing adventuring. A vehicle like that is the way to go. You go out there, you get yourself a nice little 10, 15-year-old Toyota, because Toyotas are very reliable, usually generally pretty easy to fix. You go out there, you take that thing out into the wilds, you just beat the ever-loving crap out of it, and then it's all good. So that's the thing, when you have a big, expensive old like F-150, the good part is it's got like four-wheel drive and all that kind of fancy stuff. But the bad part is it's a brand new vehicle, and so you're kind of like worried about doing something to it. You're like, oh no, what happens if I smack it into something? That would be so tragic. The nice part is when you get, like I say, an old like Toyota car or a good old Ford vehicle, and you take it out there, 10, 15 years old, you smack that thing into a tree, and who the hell cares? It gives it a character, it gives it personality. So anyways, we're going to be walking down this road for a minute. So this road officially takes you to Liberty Dam. But one thing for hiking, at least in the Maryland area, is we've got a number of these reservoirs. And a lot of these reservoirs don't have official hiking trails. But what they do have is these old fire roads. And so basically what you can do is you can go and walk on the fire road. And the fire road loops all the way around the reservoir. So it's actually quite a long way. So we by no means will be going around the entire fire road today. But basically we're just going to be going up there, going up here another few hundred feet or so. And we're going to take a ride on a fire road and walk into this nice, beautiful green trees. I really do have to say, like, you take so many things for granted when you're always living in an area. When you're in an area or you're in a part of the country that has a very similar geography or whatever, you get used to. You kind of think the rest of the world is kind of sort of like that. So when you're in the Northeast, well, actually basically when you're on the East Coast of the United States, up and down the East Coast of the United States, from the coast, from the Atlantic coast, till you hit the Appalachian Mountains. I mean, this is basically the kind of greenery and terrain and all that you see. Kind of hills and mountains, very, very, very green, lots of trees, lots of leaves, just for as far as the eye can see. And so you get used to this until, like I say, you go out west. And it's so funny, like we would go out west to the quote-unquote forests out west. And they were kind of barren in a way. Like yeah, there'd be a lot of trees, but there would just be so much open ground. That's one thing, like you go out to like the parks in the West a lot of times, and a lot of the parks like literally don't even have trails. Like I was in the desert. What's the horrible Death Valley? I was in Death Valley. Not last year, I guess the year before. No, where was it last year? I don't know, like a year and a half ago I was in Death Valley. And that was a funny thing. I was asking the park ranger why there weren't more trails there. And the park ranger kind of looked around and said, well, everything's open. There's like no reason to have trails. And it is kind of curious. Again, you think about like mentalities and people who have mentalities. And you kind of think about like the West Coast mindset versus the East Coast mindset. And so much of the East Coast mindset, we're looking for trails, we're looking for paths, we're looking for how we're supposed to get from point A to point B. Because this is the kind of environment we're used to. I mean, you can't just, I guess you can walk straight that way, but it's really gonna suck. Basically, like here on the East Coast, your question is, do you want to walk straight through that? Or do you want to find a nice open trail and walk this way? So, I think in the East Coast, we're very much conditioned to the idea of you find the trail that's been cut, and then you figure out what to do from there. Now, you may make the trail better, you may make the trail longer, you may improve the trail, you may, if you decide it's really worth the effort, cut a different trail, but basically, more or less, the idea is where is the trail? Whereas again, like I say, you go to like West Coast parks, and so many of them, they're just so open. They're just so open. It's so easy to walk from point A to point B as the crow flies that they don't have trails at all. And again, it's interesting to think about just like psychologically how people develop and how societies develop based on little things like that. So again, like you hear like in the US, you know, the East Coast versus the West Coast mentality. Again, the East Coast is how do you work within the system? How do you work within the trails or whatever that have already been cut? Which so much of the West Coast is the idea of what trails. You just go where you want to go. Why would you worry about a trail? And you're like, because where we're from, hiking through that would kind of suck. So anyways, there we go. That's our nice little reservoir over there. Very nice, very pretty. Unfortunately, I don't think we can take our boats on the reservoir. It's a really pain in the butt. So basically with these reservoirs here in the Baltimore area, and usually most places, what these reservoirs are is this is actually our water supply, or at least like the Baltimore City water supply. So when you wonder where the water from Baltimore City comes from, it comes from basically reservoirs like this. So we have Liberty Reservoir. This is Liberty Reservoir. We have Loch Raven Reservoir, and then we have Pretty Boy Reservoir. So they're just huge reservoirs. And as you'll notice, there's no litter anywhere. You don't see any litter. You don't see any trash or any of that kind of stuff. And the reason is they try to keep this water legitimately clean, because it's the water that we drink. The only sad part with that, though, is if you're like my wife and I, and you got the kayaks, or you got the canoes, they have real harsh restrictions on what boats you can put in the water. So you can fish in there, and you can boat in there, but there's requirements. So like with the boating, I was looking here, and basically, I mean, and this isn't gonna happen, since they're so worried about the zebra mussel, so there's like this invasive mussel it's causing a lot of problems. So since they're so worried about that, you can get a permit to put a boat in there, a kayak or a canoe or whatnot. But the problem is that you can only then put it in the reservoirs. So like you have to, your boat, you have to certify or agree that it will only ever be in Pretty Boy and Loch Raven and whatever this is, Liberty Reservoir. So unfortunately, I'm not gonna buy a boat just for the reservoir. The reservoirs seem very pretty, and I would like to take a boat out on them, but yeah. Not gonna buy a boat just for the reservoirs. Oops, look, somebody fishing. So you can go fish, grab your dinner here. And I do have to say, if you were gonna fish, because a lot of people around here fish in all kinds of weird places. Like they fish in like the Patapsco River. I would not eat anything out of the Patapsco River. That just sounds like a horrendous idea. Because again, like with the Baltimore City, I mean, you know, we are a very old city, and stuff has been getting dumped in that river for a very long time. So the idea of like eating out of the Patapsco River, I just can't imagine that. You see people like fishing out of the Inner Harbor again, and again, that's not even like history. I mean, I just think, but I mean, oh yeah, look, that's how clear the water is. So when we talk about like how clear a reservoir is, that's how clear, you can see how clear that is. So it really is like good, clean, clear water. But anyways, so yeah, like they eat out of the Inner Harbor. And I mean, can you imagine all the crap coming off all of the asphalt and everything that goes in the Inner Harbor? There's no way in hell I'd eat any of that food if I caught something. But like this, like if you're gonna fish somewhere, I would definitely say take a look at the reservoirs. You have to get some kind of fishing permit to come here. But I mean, that's nice, good, clean, natural water. Again, it's about as clean as you're gonna get. Is it perfect in the modern world? No. On the other hand, it's also, like with these reservoirs, they're all surrounded by essentially parkland. So I guess these are, what is it, riparian zones, or whatever they're called. But basically they're surrounded by just, I don't know, at least like 1,000 feet or whatever of land like this that you would consider parkland. So it's not that they don't get any runoff at all, but it's not like the Inner Harbor. Like the Inner Harbor is surrounded by city. So when it rains, all that crap goes right into the Inner Harbor, and then you're eating fish out of that. Whereas this, you know, the rain goes through this kind of forest stuff and then goes into the water. Again, it is the modern world, but I would eat fish out of the reservoirs. That's about the only place I would eat fish anywhere in this area of Maryland. But anyways, yeah, look at this. So this is a nice, so this isn't even a trail, technically a trail. This is what we call a fire road. And you know it's a fire road because about how wide it is. Because as you can see, it's essentially as wide as what a Jeep or like an SUV. Like if I needed to, my F-150 could get down this quite easily. But again, it is something to think about. Like when you want to go hike, or you want to go bike, or you want to go adventure. Like a lot of parks or a lot of areas that are very nice don't necessarily have a designated trail system, but they do have fire roads like that. Like, so again, I haven't found a map for the fire roads here in Liberty. But so there's no real map to this. This isn't technically a trail. But again, look at this. I mean, let me tell you, this not trail right here is a better trail than many of the real trails I've been on in parks. So again, just one of those things to be thinking about. Because again, around reservoir systems or around other areas, like the national forests are big with that. So a lot of the national forests, what people don't realize about national forests is national forests are not technically parks. Or they're not parks at all. What national forests are is basically national forests are resource reserves of the government. What I mean by that is essentially the federal government decided that for whatever reason they wanted to protect these areas of resources not from, but for development. So you'll go to a lot of national forests, and a lot of national forests a lot of lumbering happens in the areas. Gas extraction might happen in the area. You can go there and like we were at Gila, or whatever national forest down in like New Mexico. And there was actually a woman there like collecting an entire truckload of like river pebbles, right? And so the idea with national forests is that they're protected areas, but they're protected for development and for future development. So the idea is if the country needs a lot of wood for some reason, that there's a place you can go and get the wood. It's one of those things a lot of people don't realize. Again, I think that's one of the big problems with the modern world. And again, when I go back to the whole Socratic argument thing, is there's so much in the modern world where people have an assumption of what a thing is without actually knowing what that thing is. So again, like national forests, most people just lump into national parks, and then they wonder why the hell there's clear cutting or whatever else. And it's like, yeah, but national forest just fundamentally isn't what a national park is. A national park is something. A national monument is something, and a national forest is something else. Again, just one of those general things to be thinking about. But the thing is with the national forest, so a lot of the national forests, especially since they were created basically for lumber production, they have a lot of fire roads. So they'll have like a lot of fire roads or lumber roads that go through them. And so if you want to go hike through a lot of national forests, the thing you just have to keep in mind is they may have almost no trail system whatsoever. You may go, maybe a huge area like a Tate, it was a Tate down in Florida on the Panhandle. There's a big national forest down there, and there's almost no trails there whatsoever. But there's hundreds of miles of fire roads through it. So again, something to be thinking about if you go to like a national forest. You're like, where are the trails at, man? I thought there were going to be trails. And that's the thing. There aren't trails. There are fire roads, which, you know, depending on what you want to do in life, may be fine, may be good. The only bad side to a fire road versus a trail, because again, this is how fire roads normally are. Again, fire roads are maintained at least as well as trails. And I would actually say fire roads many times are maintained better than trails because there's actually a monetary need to make them exist. You know what I'm saying? Like trails are like one of those things, yeah, well, we kind of sort of want them to exist, you know, if we have the time and energy. Whereas again, if you've got all this lumber that is going to be cut at some point, if it all goes up in smoke, then that's a whole bunch of cash that just disappeared. So a lot of fire roads are actually are maintained much better than even the trail systems are. The only issue you have with fire roads is that they don't really go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want a walk in the woods, fire roads are very nice. Fire roads are great. Because you can go out, and you can walk for 5 miles, 10 miles, fucking 20, 30, 40 miles if you really want to, if you want to create some kind of weird ass loop. And you can have a nice walk in the woods. What you don't get, though, when you go on the fire roads, is like that feeling of getting to something special. Like, fire roads don't take you from point A to the beautiful waterfalls, or from point B to the overlook. A lot of times they're just grids, or they're like this. This isn't a grid, but as you can see, all it simply does is it just follows the reservoir line. And again, because that's all they care about with the fire road. They will maintain it very well. It'll be a very nice fire road, but it has a function, it has a purpose. And it is not to take you to the nice, pretty areas of the world. It is there to simply make sure the fire equipment can get to where it needs to go. But anyway, so we're just walking along here. Oh, it's a nice little reservoir. It's nice. It's good. Finally, the weather's getting pretty good today. It's up to like 80 degrees. I'm very happy for. I like 80 degrees. You know, 80 degrees, like right now, I feel like a bit of perspiration. There's like a tiny bit of perspiration on my brow, but not a lot, you know. When it was 105 degrees, as soon as you walked outside your air-conditioned room, you're already soaked. This is nice. It's good. It's warm. You know, you can have your t-shirt on, but you're not pouring down sweat either. So I do like that. So the weather is getting better and should continue to get better throughout the rest of the summer. My little sickness seems to be subsiding. I don't know if you can tell, but I do sound still a little croaky. I am still coughing up that nasty ass green phlegm. But otherwise, I don't feel too bad. Again, no headache anymore. No problems like that. Actually got to sleep at a reasonable time. Got to sleep at like 11 o'clock last night. Yay. Woke up at 7:30 a.m. So, that's not as early as I used to wake up before we left for Thailand. But 7:30, I'm completely A-okay with. You know, again, even 8:30, 9:30, that's still a little bit late to be waking up in the morning. But 7:30, fuck, I'm happy to sleep till 7:30. That is completely fine. So overall, getting better. I think we'll still have NyQuil for like another night or two. I feel like with the NyQuil, I keep saying like every night, I'm like, this will be the last night for NyQuil. And then, you know, another night, and another night. So I'm not going to say tonight's going to be the last night for NyQuil, but maybe the night after. I've heard some snarky people about this whole NyQuil thing. You shouldn't take NyQuil. I don't know what it is with people with medicines anymore. Like, people are like really anti-medicine. Like, it was really bizarre. Like, I really found it to be like quite utterly bizarre. Like, so when I had the cellulitis in my foot, right? So the cellulitis is basically like this fucking, like this just flesh rotting disease. Oh, it's just horrible. Again, if you want to vomit, go image search cellulitis. But you know, I got the cellulitis. I really got cellulitis. Not like, oh, haha. Like, thankfully, the only reason I'm not still on bed rest from cellulitis is I caught it within like 36 hours or something. Basically, it becoming an issue. But, you know, so my foot was blowing up, you know, a little bit of blood was already coming out of it. I really had an issue, right? And then I find out that it's actually cellulitis, which actually is like a really horrible, nasty thing. But it's so funny. Like, I had so many people when I said I was going to take Cipro. So if you get cellulitis, basically, hopefully, unless you get something really freaking nasty, basically you take a week course of Cipro, which is a really hardcore antibiotic, plus another antibiotic. So it's like a 1-2 punch thing. And I went and I checked, you know, the British health department says that's what you're supposed to do. The US health department says that's what you're supposed to do. Basically, everybody says this is what you do. You take Cipro plus another one of these. There's like 3 other antibiotics that are out there that are your options for a week. And hopefully you pray to God it goes away. Because if it doesn't go away, you're just fucked 9 ways from hell. But thankfully mine went away. But here's a funny thing with the medicine. Is that, so I'm sitting there. My foot has already grown to twice its size. It's already grown to the point that it's starting to spurt out a little bit of blood. Right? I've already got issues. And then I tell people, okay, look, the doctor gave me Cipro and all this, and so I'm going to take this for a week. And you should see, like, how many comments I got about how I should really think twice about taking Cipro. well, do you know what the side effects of Cipro are? Do you know what could happen to you if you take Cipro? And it's like the most bizarre fucking thing in the world. Because this isn't like, oh look, I've got an allergy that I haven't been able to get rid of for a couple of days and I'm gonna take Cipro. This isn't like, ooh, I don't know, I have a toe ache and I'm going to take Cipro. This is like literally, in 36 hours, my foot has basically doubled in size and a little bit of blood is already spurting out. And not only that, but it was like, it had gone from being like a little bit puffy in the morning to like really freaking swollen in only like 8 hours. And so you're like, look, it went from nothing to like, holy shit, right? In like basically like 8 hours. And then you have all these people like, well, you should really think twice. You should really think long and hard about whether you're gonna take the Cipro, because the side effects can be. And I just have to say, like, what the hell is going on with people anymore? I just don't understand this, right? You know, it's like there's this whole thing where people just, like, I don't know, like the whole anti-vaccination crowd and the anti-medication crowd and like the whole new age medicine crowd. And I just feel like some of them have just lost their goddamn minds sometimes. Because like, well, let's see here. I can second guess the doctor and not take Cipro because of the possible side effects. And then what are my options? Ooh, look, my foot can double in size from what it is now. Like, I'm not really sure where people are coming from with like this anti-medicine thing. And that's the whole thing too. Like, people have been like really like snarky. Some people are like snarky, oh, NyQuil. You shouldn't be taking NyQuil. Like, when I don't understand. I don't understand sometimes. Like, when did taking NyQuil become like this horrible thing? Oh, you should ask NyQuil, right? Because again, I'm not somebody that takes a lot of medicines. But I'm also not somebody that has an issue with taking medicines, right? If I have a little bit of a headache, if I have a tiny bit of a headache, you know what I do? I drink a glass of water. And if it doesn't go away, then I drink a cup of coffee. If it still doesn't go away, I normally shrug my shoulders, right? And it's a little bit, but if I have like just a boring, you know, blinding headache, fuck it, I take the Advil or take the Tylenol or whatever, right? But I don't understand, like, there's this weird thing in this modern world where people are so fucking like anti-medicine now. Even when I say, like I say with the whole Cipro thing, I'm not exactly sure what the hell they think my options are, right? And this is what really scares you with this whole thing, like with every like the anti-vaccination crowd. Like, holy shit! I mean, like, if people are giving me crap about when my foot is blown up to twice its size, about whether or not I should take Cipro. And this is like, you see the video footage. If you have me getting submitted to a Thai hospital, I show it to you. There is nothing about this where you look at it and go, well, I don't know, it doesn't look too bad. And so that's what the thing like I worry about, like with the anti-vaccination crowd, is again, when you're giving kids vaccinations when they're like 3 years old or 4 or whenever it is, you know, I mean, if you can discount somebody's foot doubling in size in 36 hours, my golly, then what kind of little brain acrobatics can you do to convince yourself that you shouldn't give your kid, you know, a vaccine when they're 3 years old, and you've never known anybody in your life to have some of the diseases that they're getting vaccinated for, right? It's like, oh, this is the problem with our country. And again, that's one thing, like I say, with a lot of people, is again, if you want to get on the vaccination crowd, like, all you have to do is go to some of these third world countries where they don't have vaccinations and then see how they're doing. Like, all these things, you know, mumps and rubella and other things that we have zero issues with. And then you go to some of these countries and you're like, oh, crap. Oh, that's real. Oh, my golly. I didn't think a human body could do that, right? But again, people are all like, nah. Well, you should really think about the side effects. Yeah, I'm thinking about the side effects of my foot doubling in size again. I think I'll weigh that. But yeah, anyways, like I say, I've been taking a nice little NyQuil. Again, I don't know what people have issues with these medicines anymore. Again, I don't take NyQuil all the time. I don't take these medicines all the time. When I'm sick and I'm croupy and it helps get everything out of the system, I see absolutely zero reason why you shouldn't take the damn medicine. Oh, yeah. Everybody has this idea of the natural state. And again, that's where I wish more people would travel, is I have been with subsistence farmers. I have been with the people that literally, if there was World War III, they would not give a crap. One of my old friends and I were laughing about that once because we were talking about these places that we had been. And it is really funny to think about. Like, we had been to places where if everything else blew up in a nuclear war, as long as there wasn't like radiation poisoning in this area, the people in those areas, it really wouldn't matter. It really wouldn't matter. They are so disconnected from the modern world that it would make zero difference if the entire rest of the world got nuked. And now you're sitting there going, well, look, Eli, well, look, that proves, that proves they're doing things right. It's like, no. But they also don't have all the nice benefits. They don't have things like Tylenol or Advil, and if you break a leg, it literally is a life-threatening condition type of deal. It's like, yeah, they don't have all the stuff. They don't have all the worries or whatever, and I'm sure they are, in some ways, maybe their meat has less antibiotics in it than my meat has in it. But on the other hand, they also keel over at like 40. Like, when one of them dies at 40, they're not having an existential moment over it. It's not like, oh, wow, what happened to Bob? It's like, oh, wow, Bob made it to 40. That's pretty good. Everybody has this idea. Like, I don't know, somehow, like I said, you get so much of this nowadays where you hear like, oh, the people that live more in tune with nature, the people that live more with the natural order, are the ones that die really fucking miserable deaths. Oh my golly. Have you seen those? That's the thing. It's like that whole noble savage thing. Like the whole idea, like the savages or whatever, these people living off the land. They're somehow more pure and more righteous and more everything else than we are in the modern society. It's a great thought. Again, until you go meet the folks. And again, they're fine people. I'm not snarking against them. I'm not saying anything against them. I'm just saying, if you said, hey, if one of them went to bed sick at night and you said, hey, I've got this thing called NyQuil. I'm telling you, those motherfuckers would guzzle that shit. Right? There's a reason people leave the countryside. It's funny, like I said, you look at something like China. And again, people just don't do normal logic problems. It's like, you think about, it's all these thoughts about how much better we were and how much more wonderful it was when we had tight-knit communities and we had small, communities without TV and without this and without that and without the other thing. But yet, you look, time and time again, when countries go through industrialization, people are fucking running out of the countryside. They are running out of the countryside, trying to get to the cities. Right, working what we would consider damn near slave labor, slave wages. And they are just happy as freaking clams to be getting that, because thank God they're out of the country. But again, people just don't seem to see that. Like, well, Eli, when I retired to the country with my very, very cushy pension fund, I have to say I find the country to be a much more relaxed environment. So, well, yeah, sure. You got a really nice pension fund going on. I'm just saying, the folks who actually have to live off the economy. That's one thing to think about, too. If you think about how wonderful a place is, the question I always ask anybody is, do you actually want to live off the economy? That's kind of one of my sayings. A place is nice, but I won't have to live off the economy. And basically what I mean by that is, it's nice to go to some of these places. It's nice to live to some of these places. Again, when my income is coming from YouTube. My income is coming from the United States. Like so many people, like from Asia, when I talk with people, they get all nostalgic about the Asia. Oh, Asia's better this, Asia's better that, Asia's better the other thing. And then, again, being a good little American, I'm like, okay, that's great, that's fine. I think the U.S. is great, but I understand if you don't. So why don't you go back? If all you're doing is talking about how the old country is so much better than the United States is, hey, Spaghetti Monster bless, why don't you go back? Like, well, I'm going to stay here until I build my retirement fund, and then I will go back when I can live off the retirement fund. And it's like, oh, okay, so this nice, wonderful, great, amazing place that you're from is nice, great, wonderful, and amazing when you're getting paid from an entirely different economy. And again, it really does make you question. It really does make you think. Is someplace great, wonderful, amazing if the locals can't have that great, wonderful, amazing lifestyle from living off of the local economy? It's just one of those things. You just gotta think about sometimes. Again, I'm saying. I like the U.S. I like the green. I like our trail system and all that kind of stuff, but I understand if folks want to go back. What I don't understand is when people go, oh, it's so much better, X, Y, or Z, and they're like, why don't you go back? They're like, oh, well, I can't afford to live there or whatever. Then you're like, yeah, that's really not that good, is it, right? Yeah. Is someplace really awesome? Is someplace really amazing and wonderful if you can't actually, like, afford to live there? You know, it is that big kind of question. It's like, well, again, if I had $10 million, there's a lot of places in the world that would be nice, you know, that I could make into nice, wonderful places. But I don't have $10 million. Therefore, I have to look at the amount of money that I have and then figure out from there where I can actually live. Okay, I like Davos, Switzerland. There's lots of places. South Beach is great. But again, you got $2,600 a month to buy an apartment there. Oh, yeah, my wife has been talking more about moving. I just don't know where we should move to, though. So that's the whole thing. Like I say, it's one thing to say that you want to move, but then there's the whole question of, but where do you actually want to go? And then, of course, here, the weather gets so much nicer. And so when the weather is like this, I really don't want to move at all. It's like, look, Maryland is wonderful. You know, all the way up until it's August and it's 100 degrees with like 99% humidity, which really sucks. Or the winter, which is between like January to March or whatever, when it's just all sub-freezing. You're all cranky. But right now it's nice. But anyways, what was I going to talk about today? I was going to talk about passion. And then I started talking about things like fire roads. But again, that's what I get paid for. I don't think you folks really care exactly what topics I talk about, so long as I just sit here and talk and ramble, show you folks the nice green world that I live in. It is kind of funny. And again, this is one thing that I will say with so many of you folks out there that are trying to come up with like that perfect product, trying to figure out what you're going to sell to the world, is do remember, many times what is actually valuable to the world isn't what you think is valuable to the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would not think the dulcet tones of my voice were very valuable to the world, but apparently you folks eat it all up. So I could sit here and I could worry about amazing video editing, and I could worry about getting drone shots, and I could worry about having all these scripts, and I could get out one video a week. Or I could just grab my camera, go on a nice little hike, and just start yabbering into the microphone for an hour. What you find out is people rather like the yabbering into a microphone for an hour. Don't ask me why. But it is true. But anyway, so let's talk about passion. Because that whole thing with passion, I think, came up yesterday, especially as the rain started pouring down on me. Holy hell. Yeah, that wasn't smart when you're sick. So the last video yesterday, we went out, and I talked with my wife, and she looked at the weather. She said it wasn't supposed to rain until 7 o'clock at night. And so we were out there at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and it just started thundering, and the rain started, I wonder what that was. And the rain started pouring down, and the whole 9 yards. Wonder if somebody's shooting fish. It's kind of odd. Doo-doo-doo. You're like, no, seriously. No, seriously, what is that? Why are there gunshots? It is the United States, and so you hear a lot of gunshots. But then, like, every once in a while, you're like, I'm not sure why those gunshots are there. But oh well, we'll just keep walking. Because again, it's the United States. Gunshots are like the bird song, right? Chirp, 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 boom, boom, boom. Anyways, but that's what I was talking about. So yesterday we were going out there, getting poured down in the cold rain. I was talking about things, but basically the idea of passion came up. And so I did want to talk more about passion and basically say why I think passion is a bunch of garbage. Because passion has become one of those buzzwords, right? Especially in the startup world. You have to have a passion for what you're doing. The most important thing is the passion for what you're doing. You know, X, Y, or Z. And I think that actually is a bunch of garbage. And I think it's a bit of a self-destructive garbage, to be honest with you. Because again, people start getting this idea in their head about that they need to be passionate about whatever it is that they're doing. And then it leads them down a nasty, horrible road that normally ends with basically not making very much money and being an abject failure, and then feeling like they're an abject failure. It's one thing to be an abject failure, but it's another thing to completely feel like you're an abject failure, right? And so there's this idea that you should have passion for what you're doing, right? You should go out there and every day you should have passion for whatever job it is you have. And here's a problem with the reality of it, is that it is highly doubtful you're ever going to have complete passion for whatever job it is you're going to have, right? I think you can have passion for your career. I think you can have passion for your profession. But I don't think, by and large, that you're going to have passion for your job. And they were sitting there and like, well, that doesn't make sense. How can you have passion for your career or your profession and not have passion for your job? Because remember, your job is basically the distilled down task list of what is required for you to get paid, right? And the reality is most businesses want to widgetize folks to the point that that whatever workflow that they have is as simple and as to the point as possible, right? So imagine that you're a chef. Imagine you have a passion for the culinary arts, right? That is not the same as having a passion for your job. Because let's say, you know, you want to be a chef and you have passion for the culinary arts. And so you learn about all these amazing herbs. You learn about the herb that sprouts only from the dung of a yak at 10,000 feet in the Himalayas, right? And you know how to take that herb and mix it with some other herb and flambe it into the most amazing thing you have ever tasted, right? And so you love that. That's what you're passionate about. You go out there and you find weird animals to kill, and you find out that, you know, there's some weird, you know, cow that wanders around in India that is unlike any cow we've ever eaten here. And so you go out there and you slaughter the cow and you grab the hindquarters of the cow and you come back and you shish kebab it, and then you take that flambe stuff and you put it on top, and oh my golly, it's just something that melts in your mouth, right? So that's your career. That's your profession. That gives you your passion. But then here's the reality, is most likely what your job is going to be is you're going to be the quote-unquote chef at a steakhouse. And so at a steakhouse, every night, you're going to cook 1,000 steaks. Some will be medium well, some will be rare, some will be burnt to a crisp. But basically all you're going to do is you're going to take slabs of steaks and you're going to throw them on the grill, and then you're going to cook them. And then maybe you'll make mashed potatoes, and then maybe you'll get really creative and create some kind of funky barbecue sauce. But again, creating that funky barbecue sauce, that's going to be fun, that's going to be exciting. That's going to take you all of about 15 minutes out of a 10 or 11 hour shift, right? And the reality is something that people miss, is that's what your job is. So let's say let's say you're a technology professional, since I have a good IT following, from a technology following, from the Eli the Computer Guy stuff. So let's say you're a technology professional. You say, I have a passion for technology. And again, do not fucking say you have a passion for computer repair, because only an idiot would be so stupid to say, I have a passion for computer repair, because computer repair is just swapping cards. It's just nothing. Say you have a passion for systems administration. Say you have a passion for Internet of Things or Internet of Everything. Say you have a passion for big data. Anything other than freaking computer repair. But anyways, right? So let's say you have a passion for bits and bytes and packets and all that kind of stuff, right? But here's the thing: you're going to go to your job, and your job is basically going to be doing the same thing day in, day out. Like the first time you ever hear of somebody and you find out that they are a group policy expert. Wow. I mean, imagine you work at a company that is so big and has so much money, you have one professional IT person that is dedicated to group policy, Active Directory group. I want to be that someday, right? And if you don't know what that is, it's security software essentially for big networks. So you think, wow, I want to do that. And here's the thing, let me tell you, that group policy expert, that person is probably an expert. They probably have their MCSE, they probably have their CCNA or something within networking. They probably have about 15 years experience. Let me tell you, as a professional, that person is probably very, very smart, very cool person. As their career, as a point in their career, being a group policy, the group policy expert for an entire company, that is an amazing thing. But here's what I really want you to think about, though, is what do you think is entailed day in, day out of being a group policy expert? Right, yeah, there's not many of them, right? They're very well paid, they're very prestigious. But at the end of the day, if your job is group policy, then basically what that means is you're going to be wandering around the company. You're going to be asking people what security issues that their departments are having. You're going to go back. You're going to go look at a whole big old list of these things called, group policies. And you're going to take a look and security policies and this, that, and the other thing. And then you're going to figure out configurations that can probably make security better in the company. Then you're going to trudge all these different managers to find out if you change those group policies, if that will have any bad effects on anybody else. And basically what you're going to find is, although it sounds really cool and it sounds really awesome, at the end of the day, it's just a different kind of slog. It's a very specialized slog. It's a slog where you need a lot of education and you need to know exactly what you're doing. But again, it's a slog nonetheless. Again, a lot of networking people, CCNAs, CCNPs are like, I want to be a network engineer. This is what my passion is. And then you're going to go out and you're going to rack a lot of switches. And you're going to run a lot of cable. And you're going to do a lot of work that, frankly, a high school dropout can do. Now, the reason that you get paid the big money, and the reason why you have a career, is because you know enough to then do the final configurations on those switches and routers to actually make them useful. But the reality is that's like 5% of your work. 5% of your work is doing the really fun and exciting stuff. And 95% of it is just the slog. It's just the widgetization of your profession down to something that the average person can do. So the problem that I see with a lot of people is they get into the profession, they get into the career, they talk about their passion, and then they're just so demoralized when they get in their jobs and realize how much their jobs suck. Their jobs are boring, their jobs are long, their jobs are hard, and their jobs are tedious. And they say, but Eli, this isn't what I wanted. I wanted a job I could be passionate about. At what point I look at them and go, well, that was stupid. The idea about being passionate about your job is just foolishness. Because again, with any job that you're going to do, it's not about the passion, it's not about the newness, it's not about the amazingness. What it is about going and doing the same thing 1,000 times over. You go in, again, like I say, with me doing videos, you might be like, well, Eli, don't you have a passion for doing videos? What about your passion for doing videos? Is that really a passion to do videos? Do you really think I have a passion for walking around the world looking like an idiot, talking into a camera to 5,000 people? There's not a lot of passion there. Here's what I like, though. Here's what keeps it going. I like traveling around the world. I like having adventures. So that's what I like to do. And then I have found, amazingly, for some strange reason, I can get paid really good money by talking into a camera. So here's the thing. What I can do, what I love, what I enjoy is going out there and doing adventures and poking my nose into stuff and doing all this amazing stuff. And then my job is to then spend 1 hour a day talking into the camera, explaining to the world all these wacky thoughts that go through my head. Again, there's the passion for we talk about it, you know, that's not passion for the job. I don't wake up in the morning and go, wow, I really have to do a video today. Well, I do because I have to get paid. But it's not like, oh, this is my underlying thing. Like, if I didn't think I was going to end up getting paid from doing this at some point, again, I don't get paid much right now. I get paid a whole whopping $200 a month off of Fail Normal. Yay! But again, I get paid a lot more off of Eli the Computer Guy, so that's what we're hoping for, right? But again, if I didn't have the idea that I could make as much off of this as I currently do off of Eli the Computer Guy, then I wouldn't do it. Again, would I go out there and would I adventure? Would I go out there and poke my nose into stuff? Would I go out there and play? Yes. Would I videotape it? No. Because again, this is what pays the bills. And I think that's the big problem that people don't understand is your job. You're not really supposed to be that passionate about your job. Your job is what pays the bills. Your job is how you produce something that society cares enough about that it's going to pay you for. And with that, you can then take that money to go do the things that you really find interesting, that you really find exciting, that you really find amazing to do, right? But there's this idea now, like I say, that the job itself, you know, you should be passionate about. And what I want you to understand is this isn't simply like me, you know, sometimes, you know, it's Eli, you know, raining on people's parades. Oh, you should be passionate about your job. And it's like, oh, Eli, you're just being mean. But I want you to understand, from a structural standpoint, from a fundamental standpoint, your job is not built. Jobs are not built for you to be that passionate about. The jobs are built in order for you to be a cog in the system that allows the overall system to get things done. Again, any large company nowadays, you know, you have to have 100 or 1,000 people all doing individual tasks in order to push a product out the door, right? It's not about being passionate about your job, right? You could, like I said, you could be passionate about cars. You could love cars. You think cars are the most amazing things in the world. But if you're the person, I don't know, freaking like super gluing dashboards into brand new, you know, Mustangs, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're passionate about that particular job, right? But a lot of people do. They get into the job, oh, why am I not passionate about this? Why does this job not fill every little part of my soul? It's like, because it's not supposed to. This is just the job that you do, the task that you do, in order to get other things done. So if you really are worried about this whole passion thing, you're really worried about this whole motivation thing, what I would argue, and this is where you need to think about what are your larger goals in life. What do you want your life to look like? What do you want, you know, to be remembered for or whatever else? And then figure out what jobs get you there most efficiently. So basically that's the thing. So, you know, let's say you're a car enthusiast. So you love cars, you think cars are the most amazing things in the world. All you want to do is be able to renovate cars, whatever else, but you can't make money off of doing that. Well, then you may go work at a Ford plant. And then when you work at the Ford plant, then you get to learn how to use tools that you may not normally get to learn how to use. You get to make money because, you know, they're unionized employees. So you actually make a decent amount of money for doing a rather simple job. Hard job, I'll give it to you, hard job, but rather simple job. And you can go and you can use that to do what you actually find enjoyable in life. Again, like I say, with me, I like bouncing around the world. I like poking my nose into things. I like seeing what's around the corner. And so for me, the question then is, you know, okay, what job allows me to do that? And I would say right now, I do honestly believe that talking to this video camera 1 hour a day will get me there. But I think if you think of it that way, you're gonna get along much better than if you imagine that the job that you're currently in is what is supposed to make you passionate about life. Again, this is one reason why, like, especially like with tech professionals, that's why they do things like they get together for meetups or they get together for hackathons. And the whole idea is your job normally, let's say you're a coder, and so you're just sitting there all day writing code for some enterprise application, right? That's probably boring as snot. Because realistically, when you're told to write the code, that's already been vetted. It should have already been vetted by 10 different levels. And so literally all you're doing is writing the code. You are told you need to take, this information out of the table on this database, you need to add it to this other thing, and then you need to dump it into this other database. And literally, your job is simply to write that in whatever code they're using. There's no imagination, there's no creativity. Pull information from here, combine it with this, and dump it there, right? But then, if you're like, well, but Eli, that's not passionate, that's not really what I want to do in life. But then that's what gets people to then you can go to hackathons. And hackathons are where they spend 2 or 3 days and people try to develop new applications or new products, basically in a 3-day time period. And so you can go there, and with all the knowledge that you have, with all the experience you have, and with all that kind of stuff, you can go there and you can actually build something that you're actually interested in. And you can enjoy it, and you can love it, and it can be really great and fun and exciting, right? So I would argue, at the end of the day, what you really need to be looking at in your job is you're not supposed to be looking for passion. Passion is just one of those buzzwords that the self-help community throws out there, so that you keep spending money buying their books or whatever. What you really need to be thinking about with whatever job you're going to have is what is good enough that you are willing to do it, as I've said before, 1,000 times or 2,000 times. Yes, it takes work. Yes, it takes effort, but really it's not so bad, right? Like I say, for me, right? This is work. This is, I'm doing something right now. I had to drive all the way here. I had to think about where I was going to walk. We're walking, we're talking, this is work. But it's not so bad. It's not so bad. I mean, if I'm going to make money off of doing something, I'd much prefer doing this than deploying, Server 2012 Active Directory. Again, what's the worst that's going to happen on a video like this? You people aren't going to like it, and you're going to give me a thumbs down. If I'm setting up some Active Directory cluster, the worst thing that can happen there is really bad. But that's what you got to think about, is what is good enough that you're willing to sit there, and you're willing to do it 1,000 times, and then also provides you what you need to do the things that you're really passionate about and that you really enjoy in life. Because one of the things I also tell you with also this whole concept of passion of the geek, is that passion doesn't really stick around very long. It's kind of like with marriage. It's kind of like with being with a spouse, right? So anybody that's married knows this, right? So like when you first fall in love, it is like the most amazing thing in the world. It is like the greatest drug ever. And basically you try to envelop yourself in the other human being. It's like you're just so whatever. There's just such this addiction that you want to merge flesh, right? But here's the thing, as time goes by, like with me and my wife, 11 years, the thing that keeps marriage going, it is not that passion. It's not that whatever, right? Because at first you've got that, and then that slackens off, and then that slackens off, and then you've got to worry about things like mortgages, and you got to worry about things like BG&E bills, you got to worry about things like health issues and all of that kind of stuff. And the reality is, at the end of the day, what marriage becomes a relationship that you find to be very enjoyable, even if there isn't that passion. It isn't that deep passion that you first had, right? It's something that you wake up every day and you're happy to be with, and you like doing, you enjoy doing. But again, it's not that passion that you first had before. And I think that's a problem, again, with people with this whole concept of passion, is people feel like their lives should be driven by passion, but that passion, that feeling that most people attribute to passion, is something that is fleeting. It is something that is real. It's something that's real, and it's something that's valuable, and it's something that you should pay attention to. But it's also something that's fleeting. It's something that will leave after a period of time. And if you don't have anything behind the passion, if you don't have any of the underlying structural feelings to keep the thing going, then once the passion is gone, then it disappears forever, right? Because that's the thing, like with a lot of people, if you go out there and you have a girlfriend or you have a relationship, and you've got the passion, it's fun, it's exciting, it's sexy, and it's amazing for like a month. And then, like I say, after about the month, all of that kind of passion stuff starts ebbing away. And then at the end of the day, you find that you two don't agree on religion, that you don't agree on where you should live. One person wants to live in New York City and the other one wants to live in the middle of a cornfield. You don't agree with kids. One person wants the kids to go to private school. The other kids barely thinks the kids need school at all, right? And you find out you have nothing backing up that passion, and that's where it disappears. And I would argue that's the same thing with a lot of people going to work, going to jobs. They get in there, and again, for that first month or two, there's that high, because everything you're learning is new, everything you're learning is exciting. You have that brand new cool title. You got that pay raise because you got the job, and you're not spending all the money yet. That's the thing. That's when the job is most cool, is when you get the pay raise. The time between when you get the pay raise and then when you start naturally spending all the new money that you got, right? Because that's the trick in life. Most people, if you make $20,000 a year, you spend $20,000 a year. If you make $30,000 a year, you spend $30,000 a year. If you make $100,000 a year, you spend $100,000 a year, right? So there's that gap. There's that gap between when you go from making $30,000 a year to $50,000 a year. And so for a long time, you're going to feel rich. For like a few months, you're going to feel rich, right? Because you got like almost double the amount of income coming in and you can't spend it all. It's like, wow. Well, here's the thing. At some point, you're going to spend it all because that's what people do. You get a bigger apartment, you get a nicer car, you go on one good vacation, and all of a sudden that $20,000 just disappears, right? And so that high of feeling rich goes away, because now you're spending all the money that's coming in, and now you're worried about your paycheck every week again, right? But again, so if there's not that underlying feeling of just enjoying what you're doing, enjoying your career, having it be good enough, knowing that the reason that you're there is so that you can pay the rent, the mortgage, and all that kind of thing, then when that passion period leaves, then you're just gonna feel all empty inside. And be like, oh, why am I here, right? Again, I get a lot of crap. A lot of crap from people whenever I talk about paying the mortgage. Eli, well, some of us, we're not like you. We're not like you. We're in this for the passion. We're not cold-hearted bastards like you, just in it for the money, right? We're passionate about what we do. But again, here's the thing. When you're passionate about what you do, again, passion is an emotion. Passion comes and passion goes. Like back when I used to date. That's a horrible thing with dating, right? Because especially for like an Aspie, because dating is like the most illogical thing. Like human sexual relations just don't make a damn bit. It's just like, one, they don't make a damn bit of sense. And if something doesn't make a damn bit of sense, that's rather hard on the Aspie brain. But anyways, that was the thing. Like, you're going along again with that old passion thing. Oh, we've got passion. But then with the relationships, how you're going along, and man, she is hot as hell. And she's smart, and she's got a good career going and all that. And then you wake up one day, and you're like, yeah, I don't really like her anymore. And even you're sitting there, and you're like, this is weird, right? She has all these things on the checklist. But yeah, I don't really like her, it's over. Done. Oh, and believe me, it's happened the other way too. She just wakes up in the morning. It's like, Eli's just kind of obnoxious. Done, right? So if you don't have these underlying needs, it really is easy for the relationship just to go away. I would argue, I think that's one reason why a lot of modern marriages are failing, is because there is this weird thing now with modern marriages, where like what's mine is mine and what's hers is hers, and you don't actually connect the two. Like there's this weird thing with a lot of modern marriage where you don't actually become one person. It's not joint bank accounts. It's not joint, all of these things. It's what's mine is mine, is yours. And then I would argue that's one of the reasons people have some issues, is because then when you do get quibbly with each other, and you do get pissed off with each other, and you do get cranky with each other, well, then it's like, why the hell even stick around? Right? But if you have some of these fundamental ties, it makes it a lot harder just to walk out the door. And even having that sometimes is enough to get your brain back in gear. That's what I say with like jobs. Like, you know, again, I'm passionate and all that. But again, if you know that you have a job because you're paying the mortgage, then when you walk in and you hate your partner, it's not really that big a deal. And when you walk in and your boss treats you like an idiot, it's not that big a deal, because if you're there for the passion, if you're there to whatever, and then your boss treats you like an idiot, you feel crushed, you feel demoralized, and how can I keep going? On the other hand, if you're there because you're paying the mortgage, you can look at it and you can go, well, boss thinks I'm an idiot, so it's probably a good time to find a new job. On the other hand, I'm still paying my mortgage. The boss may think I'm an idiot, but the boss is also not planning to fire me. Therefore, as far as I'm concerned, I'm a happy boy or a happy girl or a happy Z. You know what I'm saying? But again, the people that are all about the passion. Oh, the only reason I'm here is for the passion. Well, again, then when your boss starts acting annoying, when the company starts doing things that you disagree with, because again, how many times do you hear that from geeks, where they just lose their minds because the company makes decisions that they don't agree with? How can I possibly work for a company that, you know, is making this kind of decision? And it's like, well, but the company, the CEO, they have their own thoughts, they have their own plans, they don't match with yours. Again, if all you're worried about, if your primary concern is paying the mortgage, then you don't worry about it so much. Because you sit there and you go, well, this is the decision I would make if it's my company, but it's not my company, and I'm still getting my paycheck, so screw it. I'm gonna keep doing my job. I'm not going to lose my mind and act like a complete asshole, so at some point people want to fire me. You know what I'm saying? So those are some thoughts on this whole idea of passion. These are some thoughts on this whole idea of passion. Because again, I just hear this whole thing with passion so much anymore. It's just a bunch of crap. It's just a bunch of garbage. But the problem is in life, so many times, garbage, crap, this trash gets talked about so much that people start to think it's real. Again, how many 18-year-olds out there are really worried about finding a job that they're passionate about? And how many 18-year-olds won't take a job they're not passionate about? Oh, Eli, but I'm not passionate about it. Who cares? Who cares? It's a job. It's going to pay the bills. Fine, keep your resume out there. I'm not saying give up. I'm not saying don't ever try to find a job that will give you some more fulfillment or whatever in life. I'm just saying don't take this whole passion thing. And the other thing, too, that I will tell you, here's a little secret. Again, adults lie. People lie. And again, this is one thing like a lot of people don't grasp. A lot of those people that talk about being passionate about X, Y, or Z, they're actually lying, right? Because again, there's this thing in life, in the modern world especially, where people don't want to be seen as failures. People don't want to be seen as having made mistakes or any of that kind of thing. So there's this whole idea that people should be passionate about their jobs. That you only take a job that you're passionate about, especially like say with a hipster community or something like that. And so if you're working a job that you're not passionate about, well, that would be seen as a failure. And so again, since nobody wants to be seen as a failure, then people don't want to admit that they're not passionate about what they do. And I think that's why you get so much of this really weird crap out there, where people talk about like this weird passion stuff when it's just absolute crap, you know. The reason I work at Best Buy is I'm passionate about consumer PCs. And you're like, I don't think anybody's passionate about consumer PCs. You know what I'm saying? But again, you get so many people and they won't admit that they're not passionate about it, whatever, something. And so then you're sitting there thinking like, oh, look at it. Everybody I know is passionate about their job, and I'm not passionate about their job, and therefore I'm a failure. Oh, I suck. It's like, no, you're not a failure. You don't suck. They do, because they're lying. They're not passionate about their crappy ass jobs. They're lying about it because that's what they think they should do. And that's the worst thing. That's the worst thing. I see so many people trying to live their lives based on just made up crap. Because other people won't admit that how miserable they are. Then other people think that they're doing it wrong. Well, look, that person's so happy in their job. Why aren't I happy? Because you have a sucky job. Anyways. That's all I have to say on passion and all that kind of stuff. I wonder if I can zoom in on that bird. Can you guys see that bird? Here, let's do that. Oh darn it. Did the bird move? Let's see if we can zoom in on a bird. Zooming in on a bird. Look at that little birdie. Oh, little birdie got a worm. That birdie ain't vegan. Birdie, don't you know you're supposed to be vegan? Anyways, why won't it zoom it? Why won't it like autofocus? Will that autofocus that? No, autofocus. Yeah. Anyways, there's a little birdie eating a worm. It's not really eating a worm. It's kind of just wandering around. I wonder what it's doing. It's like, look, I got a worm. Aren't I cool? Aren't I the coolest person in the world? Look at my worm. Yeah, you wish you had a worm like my worm. Let me see something here. Can I? Anyways, there we go. This is why Eli does not get paid for cinematography, because I rather suck at it. Why won't it focus on the damn bird? There we go. Oh, now the bird left. Finally figured out how to focus on the bird, and the bird left. Anyways. That's right. That's right. That's the high quality videography you get out of Eli. Sitting there. Ooh, there it is. That's actually kind of pretty right there. Stay, damn it. What the hell is that bird doing? He's just like wandering back and forth over there for some reason. Yeah, he's just like, dum-dee-dee. Like, look at me. Look at my ass. I'm so cool. I got a bird. I'm gonna... What is he doing? Like, dum-da-dum-da-dum. Yeah. This is the point in the broadcast where Eli has nothing else to say. This is the point when Eli slowly starts winding down and has nothing else to say. Okay, so with that, I guess we'll call it a day. I will see you folks tomorrow. Maybe we'll see some other birds eating some worms or something then. So with that, ooh. Stay there. See, that's kind of a pretty shot. God damn it. I want to focus. Focus on the bird. Start lock on. I want to focus. Damn it. Anyways. Okay, focus on that. Focus. Let's see here. Let's see. Manual. Whoops. Where'd the bird go? Okay, manual. No, I don't want zoom. I don't get manual. There's probably some other button. Oops. Anyways. Anywho. Like I said, me with a video camera. Yeah, I don't know. What? You're still here? You're still here? Why are you still here? Go home. Go home. It's just so funny. It's just like sitting there, like just waving its ass at me. Like that is like the most perverted bird ever. Like it's just like, yeah, look at my ass. Oh yeah, look, I got an ass. He just keeps walking back and forth, like showing his ass. Like, If I was like Wheezy Waiter, I'd put like some music to this. We have like a little dance track going on or something. What is that? Anyways. It's just like, no, damn it, focus. There we go. That went away. I just went over there again. Who knows? I don't know. I don't get it. But I have obviously completely and utterly lost track of what I was talking about. So with that, we will call it a day, and I will see you folks tomorrow.